She gives birth while fighting not to drown and has to save her older-born son at the same time. All starts somewhere in the Central American jungle. A tapir runs intensely through the forest before it springs a wire trap and impales on a swinging branch full of spikes. Young jaguar Pop puts the tapir out of its misery and divides its internal organs between his fellow hunters, Corel Nose, Smoke Frog, and Cocoa Leaf, weird names. And Blunted receives the tapir's testicle as of a joke, since he and his wife have yet to have any children and he doesn't like the joke. Flinky Sky calms him down and offers him some remedies, or kind of medicine to use when intimate with his wife. They are soon interrupted by a band of refugees passing through the forest, looking downtrodden. One of them, a fisherman, addresses Jaguar Pop and explains that their village was attacked and they are seeking a new beginning. They exchange food before the group moves on. Jaguar Pop is keen to know more about what happened. His father silences him and they return to the village. Just before they get back, Flinky Sky explains to his son that the refugees were infected by fear, and fear is a kind of sickness, and that it should not be brought to the village. Jaguar Pop goes to his wife and admires his small son, Turtle's Run, and other son as they call on the way. Blunted returns to his wife, whose mother impatiently tells him to hurry and give her grandchild now that he has the cure, but moments after entering their hut, Blunted runs out screaming and holding his privates before sitting himself in the water, and his wife is washing her mouth. But why her mouth? No surprise why he can't have kids. Flinky Sky falls to the ground laughing as the leaves he gave Blunted were meant to cause a burning sensation when dropped. Blunted yells at him, but starts laughing with everyone else. That night, an old storyteller tells how man once received gifts from forest until the forest had nothing left to give and man never felt happiness. Greedy, that's the point he is trying to make. The villagers begin to play music and dance. Jaguar Pop's mind is distracted until Seven brings him back. The following morning, Jaguar Pop wakes early from a dream and notices fire torches quickly approaching the village. Warriors appear, igniting huts and capturing the villagers. Jaguar Pop takes his wife and son and puts them in a deep cistern to hide. He ties her up to a nearby rock so that they can climb out again before running back to the village to help, killing a raider along the way. However, the village is soon overrun. Blunted is held down while his wife is forced into a hut where she is presumably raped and killed. Jaguar Pop attempts to free his father, but is knocked down by a raider. Middleoy, a raider nearly killed by Jaguar Pop, nicknames him Almost. Flinky Sky tells his son not to be afraid as Middleoy slits his throat. All the surviving captives are tied up and led away, attached to each other on long poles, while the children of the village are left with none but the dead for company. One of them notices Jaguar Pop looking towards the cistern. He investigates but does not notice Seven and Turtle's Run. However, he is suspicious of the rope dangling into the hole and cuts it. The first-looking leader of the Hawkanes, Zero Wolf, reunites with his son, Cut Rock, who has suffered a bruising blue to the head, swelling his right eye shut. Zero Wolf cuts lines into his brow to release the pressure of blood, allowing his son to see again. The party meets up with the second raiding group, which has caught the band of refugees seen the day before. Jaguar Pop reorganizes the fishermen as the two groups are led further into forests, followed by the children of the two clans. As they cross a raging river, the children are halted by the water. The eldest girl cries out that the children are hers now, and she will take care of them. Pretty brave. That night as they camp, Zero Wolf gives his son a large dagger, which he says has killed many men. It is a symbol of Cut Rock's manhood, proven by the successful raid. He is proud of him, Blunted Layman, and promises to take as many captors with him to hell if he does not find his wife there. The next day, while treading a narrow path on a cliff, Cocoa Leaf, severely injured in the village raid, loses his footing and dangles over the edge. Jaguar Pop and the others manage to pull him back onto the path, while Middleoy watches with interest and guides them to regain the footing. He then cuts Cocoa Leaf free of his binds and shoves him over the cliffside, which Zero Wolf almost punishes him for losing one of their captives. As they are near civilization, the party crosses through a deforested area and failed maize crops where villagers lay dead. A small girl, sick and with sores on her face and hands, approaches the party, but when Snaking forcefully pushes her away, suddenly looks towards Jaguar Pop with a blank expression. She then looks at the Snaking and prophesies their doom, warning of a man who brings dark of night and a jaguar. She says that this man is among them now. They are screwed. The party moves on as she continues to call them. They enter a city where workers toil in limestone quarries, covered white by the excess and spreading quicklime over buildings. A worker coughs a lot, and an old man approaches the captives, drooling and begging for help. He is kicked away by a Hulkine and told to die with dignity. The women captives are separated from the men men and are sold as slaves. Blunted watches as his mother-in-law is auctioned, but rejected due to her age. She is free to wander, and she follows Blunted as far as she can go, touching his arm shortly before closing her eyes against a pillar, helpless. The men are led through a tunnel where they see pictures on the walls depicting human sacrifices. Women paint their bodies blue as they are led to the top of a step pyramid. The heads of victims are tossed down the steps and collected in baskets at the bottom. Jaguar watches as the first captive is sacrificed, his heart ripped out and his head severed. The same fate befalls Carol Nose before Jaguar Pop is brought to the sacrificial pedestal, seemingly accepting his fate. He waits until the high press stops due to the solar eclipse. The priest denounces to the crowd that their god is pleased and begs for the sun to come back. However, the priest and the Mayan leaders are well aware that the eclipse will eventually pass. They use the celestial events to wield power over the public and their enemies. He then tells Zero Wolf to get rid of the other captives. Jaguar Pop and the others are taken to an old ball court where they are supposed to run the lengths in pairs towards the forest, at the end with the cynical promise of freedom should they make it. Kotrick runs ahead to the end of the court as a finisher, and it becomes clear that the captives are to be used as target practice. Belanted and Smoke Frog are the first to run, but Belanted is speared in the lower back and Smoke Frog is hit with a large stone before being finished by Kotrick. Next, Jaguar Pop and Fisherman are told to flee. Jaguar Pop's necklace is ripped off by Middle Eye and call him almost before he runs. They await most of the projectiles. The Fisherman is shot through the head and Jaguar Pop is impaled through his side, falling near Belanted. Before Kotrick can finish him, Belanted grabs Kotrick by the leg, buying Jaguar Pop some time to run. Kotrick kills Belanted with a single blow to the head, but Jaguar Pop breaks off the arrowhead in his own body and stabs Kotrick in the neck. Kotrick stumbles as Jaguar Pop stands, removes the arrow shaft from his side, and runs into the forest. Zero Wolf runs to his son and coaxes him into eternal sleep. As his son dies in his arms, Zero Wolf takes back his dagger and puts his son's necklace into his belt before running after Jaguar Pop. The other Hulkiness follow him. Jaguar Pop runs through a corn crop and falls into a mass open grave filled with the remains of thousands of sacrificial victims. He runs across into the jungle, where he climbs a tree and hides. Blood is still dripping from his wound. The Hulkiness run past beneath him. When they are gone, he returns to see a black jaguar cock growling at him. He hears a louder roar behind him and turns to see the threatening mother jaguar. Meanwhile, the Hulkiness stop realizing they have lost Jaguar Pop's trail. One of them notices blood on Middle Eye's shoulder and they backtrack, keeping their eyes to the trees. They soon see Jaguar Pop running through the forest. As their paths merge in a clearing, a speaking wind is attacked by the jaguar that was chasing Jaguar Pop. He is viciously mauled to death before the others arrive and kill the jaguar. One of them dislikes the bad omen associated with killing the jaguar, while Snake Inc. remembers the strange child prophecy and reminds him it was foretold. Zero Wolf hushes them all, eager to find and kill Jaguar Pop. The chase lasts through the night into the morning. At one point, one of them approaches a tree where blue paint with Jaguar Pop wrapped onto the tree, but he is bitten in the neck by an ASP. As the Hulkiness eventually catch up to Jaguar Pop, he is cornered and forced to leap over the edge of a high waterfall. He survives and stands on the riverbank, calling out to the Hulkiness that this is his forest and his descendants will continue to hunt in it. Impatient Zero Wolf stops Snake Inc. when he climbing down rather than jumping. First to jump survives, but the second dies when he hits his head on a rock. The others are luckier and continue their pursuit. As he flees, Jaguar Pop lands in a muddy sinkhole but manages to climb out. After he does so, he pauses and decides that he is not afraid and will no longer run. As the Hulkiness approach, Jaguar Pop, covered in black mud, confronts them and tosses a leaf wasp's hive at them. Jaguar Pop runs towards a stream where he finds a poison frog and collects its venom on a few large thorns. He runs in a circle and hides in the reeds, waiting for the Hulkiness. Meanwhile, Seven attempts to escape the cistern by tossing a stalactite to the surface with the rope attached to it. She manages to climb halfway, but the rock dislocks, causing her to fall. She is barely hurt. Her water breaks from that incident. As the Hulkiness pass Jaguar Pop's hidden place, he takes a large leaf and rolls it into a blowing gun. He fires his darts at Hanging Moss, already weakened by the wasp stings. As Hanging Moss falls to the ground, his cries attract Middle Eye, who runs back. Middle Eye comes face to face with Jaguar Pop and they run at each other, each eyeing the bludgeon that Hanging Moss dropped. Middle Eye swings his own as they get to each other, and Jaguar Pop barely manages to duck. Not totally though. He picks up Hanging Moss bludgeon and rises rises to strike Middle Eye in the temple. Middle Eye calls him almost one last time, as Jaguar Pop kills him with a blue under the chin. It suddenly begins to rain and Jaguar Pop runs to the cistern, knowing that it will soon fill with water. Zero Wolf and the remaining Hulkiness see Middle Eye's body and Jaguar Pop running into the forest. Enraged, Zero Wolf outruns the other two in his pursuit. Jaguar Pop gets to the cistern to find it filling with water and his wife in labor, screaming for him to hurry. An arrow almost hits him. He runs into the jungle and Zero Wolf closes in. The two others pause by the cistern to see Seven, and Turtle runs at the bottom before resuming the chase. Jaguar Pop stops at a specific spot in the forest that he recognized and turns to face Zero Wolf, who shots an arrow into his shoulder. He stands, waits, and watches as Zero Wolf charges at him with his dagger drawn. Zero Wolf fails to notice a trap wire and sets off the trap, becoming impaled on its sharp spikes. He dies as Monkey Jaw and Tin Peccary arrive. They chase Jaguar Pop to the beach where he collapses from exhaustion. When they catch up with him, they stop, staring at the sea where a small fleet of Spanish ships is anchored. Soldiers and missionaries are rowing to the shore in small boats. Mesmerized, Monkey Jaw and Tin Peccary approach the shoreline while Jaguar Pop races back to the cistern. He finds that Seven has just given birth and pulls his family out of the cistern. Later, when the rain stops, Jaguar Pop carries his newborn son, followed by Seven and Turtle's Run. They look back towards the Spanish ships and Seven asks if they should go to them. Jaguar Pop says that they should go to the forest and start a new beginning.